All right, y'all. Welcome back to WCP Was Play podcast. Here with Brian, myself, Jalen also, and Christian. We got Kid to produce it. Starting off with something that's a little more not upbeat as we usually are. Unfortunately, the events that happened at Damar Hamlin about 2 days ago. Mainly, we just want to send our thoughts and prayers to him and his family. We hear he's doing better as of now, but we're just on the up and up about him. I guess from there we go to our first topic. Brian, you tell yourself talking about football, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So as you know, the playoffs are right around the corner. We are heading into Week 18. There's still a few postseason spots that are still available. Obviously, in the NFC, we have the 7th seed. I believe in the AFC, we still have the 7th seed as well. We also, of course, have the 4th seed, which will go to the winner of the Jaguars and Titans game. So we're going to start with Jalen. And, who do you predict having those last few spots?
Last 2 spots?
Yeah,
it's probably going to be Jaguars. I have faith in Trevor Lawrence, and then I think it's going to be Steelers because I think somehow, some way, they always have a winning season. So I think there's going to be that going. The Dolphins, I think they're out Teddy and without Tua this week, so I think they're cooked. And Mac Jones is Mac Jones, so I'm going to go with the Steelers.
What about the NFC?
NFC, Packers.
Yeah, I also think the Packers are going to get in. I'm rooting for the Lions to get in, but a lot will have to happen for them to get in. The Seahawks will have to lose. I believe they play the Rams. I just don't see them losing to the Rams. But, the Rams do have Baker Mayfield, and things have been looking different somewhat since he got there. But I'm rooting for the Lions to that game and Sunday night to mean something. Because I don't like the way the NFL scheduled that game, the way that they have it on Sunday night. I wish those games were happening at the same time so Detroit doesn't know their fate while they're playing the game. I mean, after the previous game is already played. I'd rather they play to win because if they're playing Sunday night and they already know they're eliminated, they may not give their best effort because the season is already over for them. But I do believe the Packers will get in. But I'm rooting for the Lions because I like the Lions team. I like the high-power offense. I think it'll make for an entertaining playoff game. But I think the Packers are going to end up getting in. In the AFC, I agree. I think the Steelers are going to get that last spot. Rooting for Mike Tomlin to get that winning season again. And I think the Jaguars are going to take care of business against the Titans.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and copy off Jalen's answer. I think the Jaguars and the Steelers are most likely to make it. Again, Mike Tomlin has, for years on end, been over 500. So, and I don't believe in Trevor Lawrence, personally. He don't look right. And, but I believe in Travis Etienne. You know what I'm saying? But on the NFC side, that's right, I know football. Who else is in the contention? You said the Lions. You said
it's the Lions, the Packers, and the Seahawks. Seahawks currently hold that 7th spot as of right now.
I'm going Seahawks. Yeah. Oh wait.
The Seahawks need the Packers to lose though.
Yeah.
And they need to win against the Rams.
I'm going Seahawks. Is Aaron Rodgers still taking ecstasy or?
He's taking wherever he needs to take to wake up in the morning at this point.
He still got a haircut?
Yeah, I think he does.
Think so.
You do?
I think he might be locked in for that.
He cut it? All right. I understand. Wait, he cut it? Oh, shit.
You don't have to cut no more.
God dang.
Can we say on YouTube?
That's what I'm saying. Can we? Are we going to be able to get
I don't know. People said it on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go with Seahawks still. I believe in Geno. Yeah.
Okay. That's a branded pick right there, to be real with y'all. NFC, I hate to be, copying everybody, but Packers, I just think they have the best quarterback left out of the 3 teams that are there. Like the CT said.
Based on the season,
oh gosh,
best quarterback might be in Seattle.
No, it's actually, I've had Geno Smith on my fantasy team. He has not been the best quarterback.
You have for 1 week? 1 week?
Yeah, I've had him enough.
He had to get better.
Lost me a playoff game. Geno Smith is not him. Seattle, no offense to you guys, but if you have that top 5, top 3 pick, go ahead and draft that boy out of Ohio State. We'll talk about that later, though. But, Geno, not the answer. But y'all can go ahead.
Yes.
Just had to I couldn't let that slide.
Can let that go? Can let one go?
Nah.
We gonna let Brandon rebut it out.
That was actually my fault.
Nah, Geno the 3rd best out of all of them teams. Yeah.
3rd? Woo! Where's the golf?
Hey, golf been performing, man.
He's better.
Geno has it.
1 week.
I don't know about
That's all it takes.
I don't know about your golf, man.
Must win.
But yeah, Packers, Jaguars, you know, me and CT both believe. Well, I don't want to speak for CT.
No, I do.
I don't want to speak for CT, but you know, I believe Trevor Lawrence will probably make my top 10 quarterback list next year.
Oh yeah.
So
I already sent you on mine. He's at mine. He's at 9.
Yeah, so you know, future top 10 quarterback, I believe, and also Tennessee. I don't think they have Ryan Tannehill. So
they still got Dobbs. They got quarterback.
Yeah, so they got the advantage of quarterback. They got, and I don't know if Derrick Henry's gonna be able to do enough to get Tennessee to win that game. So I have Jacksonville winning that one.
I will say, Dobbs didn't look terrible last week. I mean,
yeah, he played
for who he is as a quarterback. Tennessee is not. I think a lot of people are already counting Tennessee out. But if Tennessee can play their brand of football and if it works, I think they have a strong chance of winning this game. If they can control the clock, running the ball, because Dobbs can run the read option with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry can just run the ball 25 times, and who knows, he may be able to get 150 yards by doing that. If he's able to play a Derrick Henry type of game that we've seen him have against the AFC South opponents, I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee does win that game. But I think a lot of people are rooting for Jacksonville to win. They're the more entertaining team. People don't really want to see that type of prodding style in the playoffs because Tennessee is most definitely probably a one game and out, especially if Tannehill doesn't come back.
Yeah.
In Jacksonville, this is the young team, young quarterback, you know. Sunshine is at quarterback, and I believe in Trevor Lawrence as a quarterback, but this is the biggest game of his career. I believe he'll come through because I picked him to win, but I wouldn't count Tennessee out. I don't know what the over-under is and the odds, but the money's good, you know, because I'm pretty sure Jacksonville's favorite. I don't know how many points they would be favored by, but, you know, I wouldn't count Tennessee out just because you never know. If the running game is working, I'm pretty sure Jacksonville's going to sell out to stop the run, though. But you never know.
Jacksonville's favored by 6.
Yeah, so I was gonna say I understand that point, CT, and they do have a different quarterback to Dobbs who did look impressive, but I'm not sure if the running game, even if the running game does get going, I don't know how much that's gonna work because we saw that happen again. Even though it's a different quarterback because they have Malik Willis in the game, they tried that against Houston and then they still weren't able to win. So
yeah, I think it really comes down to their defense, as Mike Vrabel teams normally come down to. You have to get some turnovers. Either Travis Etienne can fumble. He has had some fumbling issues this season.
Trevor Lawrence will throw you a pick.
Killed me sometimes. Trevor Lawrence can't throw a pick.
He will throw you one.
He can throw you one. So especially in the red zone. So if they can maybe get 2 to 3 turnovers, then at that point they can just lean on Derrick Henry. But if the Jacksonville come out and Trevor just lead them down the field and they get like a touchdown on the field goal, at that point you're down 10 with Dobbs at quarterback. You basically cooked.
I'd also like to say that, you know, Mike Vrabel was making the decision on who to start, Josh Dobbs or the rookie Malik Willis, who they drafted to come in and eventually be their quarterback of the future, they would hope. And I think the decision really came down to they saw Malik against Houston, and whether we like it or not, he's just not ready yet. It's not to say he won't work out in the future. I think a lot of people may be writing him off a little early because I know Brian was high on him as a prospect. But I think Vrabel it came down to who do you trust more to throw the ball on third down? Because everybody knows Tennessee is going to run the ball first down, second down with Derrick Henry. The most they'll do is a play-action pass on one of those downs. But if you have 3rd and 5 or more, who do you trust to pick up the first down so you can get those yards back and start again with Derrick Henry? Because that's all it's about. The game is about Derrick Henry. If Jacksonville stops him, they lose. Whoever's at quarterback. Even if Tannehill was at quarterback, if Derrick Henry is getting stopped, they're not winning the game based off what they have on that offense because the receivers aren't helping anybody out on that team.
I think with Tannehill start, I'm not even sure if that spread would be much different.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised. The team, even with Tannehill, the team was on a downward spiral recently.
Yeah. So for the 7th seed, I'm gonna be a little bit different. Even though Teddy might not play, and obviously 2 is out, I'm gonna go with Miami. I think they have just enough to be able to beat the Jets, even though, of course, like the Jets have Sauce Gardner and DJ Reed at corner. I do think this is a game where Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle can show, you know, why they deserve to be in Tyreek's case, obviously, possibly number 1 receiver, but in Jalen's maybe top 10, top 15 receiver going into next year. So I think they have enough to get past the Jets, but I will be rooting for the Steelers to get in because obviously, you know, it took a lot for Mike Tomlin to get to this point, to get to 8-8, and I'd like to see him, you know, have another winning season. So if they're able to make the playoffs, it'll be
I'll
great.
be honest with you. Who is the Dolphins starting quarterback this week?
I'm assuming it'd be Skylar Thompson.
Yeah,
I thought it was him.
You know, Skylar Thompson, that was my boy in the preseason. Hasn't looked that good when he has played, but
I think the last time he played was versus the Jets.
yeah,
Wasn't it?
he
And they got
did.
blown out.
But the thing in both AFC East matchups, the teams that need to win, they don't really know what team they're going to go against. The Jets have literally nothing to play for. So you don't know whether the Jets are going to go out there with their normal team or if they're going to, play their players in the first half and, try to prevent injury going into the next season.
I think they're gonna try to play.
I would think that Robert Saleh seems like the coach where, everything is on the table and they're going to try to play to win the game. The thing with the Bills team is they're coming off this tragedy. You don't know where their mind is. So you'd assume, if you're having the Patriots versus the Bills, you'd assume that this is a matchup where the Bills are heavily favored. They probably go out and try to win the game. But at the end of the day, these are human players. You don't know where their minds are.
Yeah.
You don't even know if this game is happening as scheduled. There's been no discussion on if the Bengals or Bills game will happen at all, and if that affects this upcoming schedule. You don't know what's happening with this team in general. So for the Patriots, I don't really know. I can't make an honest prediction on this game because I don't know when the game is happening, if the game is happening, and the team they will be playing, what type of mindset they will be in. Of course, they're going to say they're going to try to do whatever is possible playing for Damar, and we can all respect that. But we could also respect if they say they're not ready to play. And if that happens, that, of course, pushes the season back a week, which is what people have been saying to do, just to give players more time. But, like I said, I picked the Steelers because I believe both teams would lose, the Dolphins and the Patriots. And I believe in Mike Tomlin as a coach. I don't believe in the players on the Steelers necessarily. I'm not a big Kenny Pickett guy, and I'm certainly not a big Najee Harris guy. But I believe in Tomlin as a coach, and I'm rooting for him to extend that streak he has. So we want to move on to the next topic.
Next time will be about your reactions on college football playoffs. When TCU ultimately, I believe, kind of destroyed Michigan to Michigan storming back. Competitive game, which also could be Jim Harbaugh's last game as Michigan's head coach. And on top of that was the Georgia and Ohio State game. As the clock struck 12, 2023.
That's true, man.
Did terribly miss. It would have been a game in the field goal, which led to Georgia going to the championship game once again. I just want to hear y'all thoughts and reactions on everything. If you have any predictions, y'all want to put it out, y'all can.
Yeah, I can predict who's going to win the championship. It's going to be Georgia.
Yeah. Are they going for 3? That's the real question, though.
I have 2 things to say about both games. I'm going to start with the Michigan game. Mainly because I needed Michigan to win like $100. And I can't believe they let TCU with that bootleg Tim Tebow quarterback.
Big 12 football.
Big 12 football, man.
Is he going to be you guys think he'll be a mid-round pick?
Who?
I've seen 6th,
Doug.
7th round projections. He can play football, man. Draft football players.
Man, I don't want to talk about it.
Y'all talking about Joe Webb earlier,
It's
man.
time for Joe Webb. That man wants a gunner and quarterback at the same time, man.
But he kick return too.
I've heard, I don't know if y'all saw reports, but I saw reports of Harbaugh getting reached out by, I think, the Broncos and the Panthers for a head coaching job.
Yeah.
So I think he might be done in Michigan. I think it's about the time.
Yeah.
I know I've seen some players on Michigan saying they're going to try to run it back. I don't know who's going to be the head coach when they try to run it back. Because if I was a head coach, I'd be like, yeah, I don't really care for real. Because there's no way we're losing to TCU.
What more can he do at Michigan?
I don't know.
Win the championship. That's
Yeah,
it.
I
don't
think
think-
this is his best shot.
No, I'm just saying that's literally the only
These
thing.
most recent classes are the best he's going to get at Michigan,
Yeah.
especially with NIL coming in. I mean, you see it at Ohio State. Ohio State has people decommitting because they're not able to support the NIL money the way that other schools are. The Big Ten is different. The Big Ten money, I guess, isn't really conducive to the NIL thing because Michigan and Ohio State have been struggling. But I think these are the best classes he's gotten. He hasn't really been able to hit on quarterback. Believe it or not, J.J. McCarthy was supposed to be the top 5-star prospect he got. Didn't really look like it against a TCU team who wasn't really known for their defense, but this was honestly his best shot. I mean, I can understand if he wants to come again next year because J.J. McCarthy has another year, so if he wants to attach himself with him for that last ride, I guess, I don't know what's up with Blake Corum. Whether he'll declare. Is he eligible? I think he's eligible.
I think he's eligible.
So I don't know whether he'll declare. I know he's coming off the injury, but I don't know what more there is for him to do at Michigan. He turned the program around. When he picked them up, they were awful. You know?
Yeah. They couldn't beat Ohio State to save their life.
He did what he kind of was supposed to do, was to make Michigan one of the top teams in Big Ten.
Yeah.
And he achieved that. Got Big Ten championships, beat Ohio State.
Yeah.
Twice in a row.
Because before last year, I believe, he couldn't beat Ohio State to save his life. But he beat them 2 years in a row. I say you leave now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're
I don't know if you win it 3 straight times.
Especially,
Especially the way this game.
Yeah, the way this was Michigan's year to try to get something done. Like, I don't think any of us saw them losing to TCU. And they did, you know. It's unfortunate because, you know, I thought that would be a better championship matchup than TCU and Georgia because I don't like Georgia. Not because of, you know, the team itself. I just don't like Stetson Bennett. He's a little old, you know.
Now, where do you think his stock would be?
6th, 7th round.
Stop.
You know?
I honestly think I can see him get drafted in the 4th, 5th round.
I say third. He can probably draft him
Third.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
He looks like
as much as I hate to say it, he'd be making himself some money in these playoff games. Because especially last year's playoff game when people were like, he was throwing the ball, you know. And as much as I hated to see it.
He was throwing that ball on that last drive. He didn't run the ball one time.
Against Ohio State, he was throwing that ball, and TCU defense about to have him looking like next coming to Baker Mayfield.
Well, I mean, do we think they're going to be trying to throw the ball that much, honestly?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Georgia's running game isn't as strong as it was last year,
Okay.
but the running backs are great in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
You saw that on New Year's Eve before the clock struck midnight. The running backs were heavily involved in the passing game. McIntosh, he's a monster. But yeah, you know, they'll throw the ball a lot because that'll probably get the score ran up and the game will be over pretty quickly, you know. I'm rooting for TCU though. Hope that game ends in TCU's favor.
Yeah.
Oh, other part. Talking about that kicker. It's kind of funny to me because I knew when the game was coming down to the kicker and Ohio State just refused to get more yards and make it at least closer.
Did they at least try to center the ball? Or
No. They ran the ball on 1st and 10 to the left. Now, every kicker, you know, some kickers say they want the ball on the left hash, the right hash, or some of them want the ball in the middle. So maybe this kicker said, yeah, get the ball to the left hash, I'll be good. But if you're doing that, pick up some more yards. They lost a yard when they ran the ball.
I think it was like, what, 4th and 12? Or 4th
Yeah, it was 12 because they didn't pick up a yard after they lost a yard. Because they ran the ball on 1st and 10, I believe, lost a yard or two, and then tried to throw the ball, couldn't pick it.
And this was like after Stroud had that big
after
run.
he was running. I would say
I thought he was gonna
run a read option. Run one up the middle.
Yeah.
Run a read option with the running back coming up the middle or CJ Stroud taking it outside because, you know, that's an element of his game that people did not know about. I had no clue. You know, I wasn't a big CJ Stroud fan. You want to talk about CJ Stroud now?
I got a question.
It's kind of like when I saw the kicker run out there and I saw the 50-yard field goal, and then what's Georgia coach name? I can't.
Kirby Smart.
Yeah, they called that timeout and they showed the kicker. You could see the fear in his eyes, and I knew he was going to miss it right there.
The announcers was like, he's only missed 2 kicks in the last.
When I heard him say that,
I was like, but look, Kirby Smart called the timeout early. He didn't. Normally they call the timeout right before. They called the timeout early. I was like, oh yeah. So he can relax, decompress, take the kick.
He needed that
practice.
Ball went out. I was like, oh man.
He needed to practice.
He tried to kick it as hard as he
I was
could.
rooting for him too, but you know, a 50-yard kick is a 50-yard kick. And these college kickers have never, you know,
Been known for that.
they've never been known to be good. And you know,
My question when it comes to kickers, how do you know you're a good kicker?
When you make literally like you got it. It's like trial and error. It's like trying to figure out.
You talking about college or like
at all?
It's like
to get to college level kicker, right? Like we've all played
they
high
go to
school.
kicking. They have like
kicking camps and stuff like that.
So they get rankings and stuff.
But like, how do you?
I feel like it would be like trying to figure out if trying to learn if you know a player's clutch or not. Like you just have to see if they're in that situation.
But also, it could be mixed and also mechanics as well. Mechanics are true things of kickers as well.
Kickers are just like quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But kicking is probably
because even in the Orange
college, I think kicking might be one of the hardest things it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably.
But in college, the hashes are wider too.
Yeah, that doesn't help either.
I'm thinking like, oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say like in the Orange Bowl. I don't know. I believe BT Potter, who kicked for Clemson, I believe he was at least an All ACC first team, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he got All-American, but like he was basically Clemson's basically the leading scorer, like all time, if I'm not mistaken. But he missed like a couple that he missed like one that like went to the right. Then he started like pulling kicks a couple times. I think he finished like 2 for 5 or something like that. So that wasn't great. But
that was in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah, that was an Orange Bowl against Tennessee. That was a tough game. But I mean, I still would consider him a good kicker because he's been pretty good for most of his career. He's probably like around 86%, maybe a little bit better than that. So I just think in order to determine if you have a really good kicker or not, I guess it's just as crazy as it sounds. I guess kind of like CT said about quarterbacks, like making the easy kicks, being better than average on the tougher kicks, and then obviously showing up when it matters most.
I'm saying, like, before you even take the journey to become a NFL kicker,
okay,
right? You could be tall. I'm like, oh, you could probably play basketball. You could be fast. No, you probably play running back. You be big as shit. You could probably be a lineman. But there's no day-to-day situation. You kicking something 60 yards. Like, how do you know?
Most of them played
soccer.
soccer.
Yeah, soccer.
But even in soccer, you're not booting. Are you really booting that bitch?
But do you have
high?
The
accuracy.
No. It's all about accuracy for the most part. Because
Okay.
the mechanics, the power comes from the mechanics of kicking. You know, I'm not a kicker, but you know,
Keep going, yeah.
I'm not a kicker, but the mechanics come from the power. You know, you can be the strongest person in the world, but only kick the ball 30 yards. So, you know, the kicking camps is what gets you all the stuff that helps you build your power and stuff and build your accuracy. But, you know, a lot of coaches, like high school coaches, go to the soccer team and say, who wants to kick for the football team a lot of the time.
Okay.
And so those players end up just sticking with it, and that's how you get college offers a lot of the time.
Yeah, and I can't remember who said it, but like usually the best kickers seem to be like walk-ons. So even though you have the rating system and things like that, you still have guys that like I guess just devoted their whole time to just being kickers.
You know, I think it's called corn blue kicking. Your kicking camp.
Yeah, even in the NFL, it's like 3 elite kickers. 3: Justin Tucker, Daniel Carson, and
Young Quay Cole.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
because I was gonna say I don't know.
Fantasy boy.
Butker's like on and off.
I pick him up every year.
Evan McPherson, he was good enough last year, but he's been awful this year.
Dude from Steelers.
Oh, Boswell
has
is
been awful this year.
Yeah, but Boswell's like
he only still has a job because he's been there so long. Like that's the other thing with kicking. You can miss two kicks in one game and they might cut you. Unless you got like the tenure. Like if Justin Tucker misses 2 kicks in one. Oh, Mason Crosby is a good one because he used to suck. Like certain games. Certain games with the Packers, he would just
like
miss
3-4 missed field goals.
But he's been there since 2008, so it's like
Damn.
Yeah, we know what you're really about. So you gotta be around.
I don't think I wasn't that big in college football when this happened. I forgot what year it was. Maybe 2016, 2017, where the Bucks took Royo.
Oh yeah, Roberto Mario.
That was
second round. I still don't understand why they
Was
did
he
that.
that good in Florida State?
He was good. He was good at Florida State.
But
I wouldn't have picked him second round. But that's like taking Sebastian Janikowski in the first round. Like even though he had a long.
But that pick, people don't talk about that pick because he was there.
Yeah, that's just
he was there for 10 years.
It's 2 things about he was a Hall of Famer basically.
Yeah, I mean I'm not saying he wasn't.
But it's 2 things. Kickers don't bring that much value enough to be a second round pick, especially at this point. And he sucked. So
because he was really good. He was really good at Florida State.
So,
nobody was taking him before the 5th round.
So say Justin Tucker, right? So say you knew how Justin Tucker was going to perform, whatever, right? Would y'all take him in the top 4 round?
Maybe the 3rd.
I think Justin Tucker is the only one who gets drafted in my opinion.
Maybe the 3rd
if I'm running a team, I really don't know if I can draft a kicker.
Because
kickers is crucial though.
I mean, they're crucial, but you can find them in free agency.
But no, the ones you draft don't. It's not like the best kickers will always get drafted. They're drafting the ones. Most of the kickers who get drafted go to the biggest schools, and they have the biggest names because they perform on the biggest stages. But even then, like he just said, Aguayo was drafted in the 2nd round. It's supposed to be a short thing kicker.
I think he was like historically great.
Yeah,
in college.
I think he was.
Once he got to the NFL, he
sucked.
sucked. I don't know whether it was pressure. Because kicking is as much as physical as
it's not like he went to like a completely different state. He went from Florida State
to Tampa.
Damn.
And you also gotta consider kicking in conditions that you've never been in, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you know, Aguayo was drafted in the 2nd round. He didn't work out, so you're not necessarily drafting a kicker that you know is gonna work out. And kickers get cut all throughout the season.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say the only 2 kickers I know, like 2000 and beyond, within the first 3 rounds that were picked were outside of Kawhi that actually worked out with Janikowski and Nate Kading. So I guess it would depend. But
And even Kading, he was.
Yeah.
And the thing about Kading is important, but it's your offensive players that put you in a position to kick that field goal,
That's
or
true.
defense players to get the ball back to let you kick the field goal. That's more important.
Mhm.
Like Jalen Tucker is good, of course, but it's been many clutch drives that Lamar or let's say even Joe Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco.
Put him in position to kick the ball.
This will tell you all you need to know. Justin Tucker didn't get drafted.
That's what I was gonna say. He was undrafted.
Okay.
More
You know,
Anderson was
Justin
undrafted.
Tucker,
that's enough.
he was undrafted in 2012. Did not get drafted.
Anderson.
I think it was 7th round.
I
Nah, I
wish
think
he was.
yeah.
Because Justin Tucker is the only one I could consider drafting because I've seen
Vinatieri
him
went undrafted.
knock the kicks down that you need him to make. Because even Harrison Butker has had his moments.
Carlson's been pretty good though.
He has.
He's locked in.
And Evan McPherson, I was like, oh yeah, they got one for a decade. Because when you get a kicker that
And
you
they
know
got
is
him
good,
like 5th round, right?
yeah, but McPherson this year,
It has just been
Yeah.
garbage,
Yeah.
so.
but they'll probably keep him around because
Yeah,
if
that
you
great
get
season.
one, if you get one that you think is good, you almost want to keep him. Because
See,
Commanders, man,
yeah, I was gonna say, the thing
Speaking
about
of
McPherson,
going-
the thing about McPherson though, he could always like turn it back around because like if we think about it in the playoffs, I don't think he missed a kick.
did not. He was
So like if
lights
he
out.
has it, so even if Cincinnati only plays like 2 games, if he doesn't miss a kick,
Yeah, I
he
don't-
kicks like 5 times. People
Yeah,
still say
just
it's
based
a
off what he
season.
did last year, he earned himself 2 years.
Yeah.
Unless he missed every kick he took. But he earned himself 2 years just based off that last playoff performance because the team believes in him so much. Now, if the team believes in the kicker, you can't come.
Exactly.
Because, they don't even got to watch. He going to kick it? Oh, yeah, that's good. It's McPherson. That's how I was feeling in the playoffs. But kicking is just so random. You never really know. And if you have one, you'll keep them. If you don't, they'll just cut them like this because they don't have big cap hits.
Yeah.
All right, we're moving on from the college football playoffs. Early this week, Donovan Mitchell put up essentially a historic game as well. 71 points, I believe, 11 rebounds.
Yeah, 71 points, 10 assists.
10 assists.
Yeah.
71,
8
11,
rebounds?
and 8.
Yeah,
11 assists.
Yeah, okay.
And this has kind of been a trend lately where yesterday Giannis put up 50 points, and that was with the fifth 50-point game, the fourth 50-point game in the past 4 days.
Nobody even talked about it.
So what is y'all take on, of course, Donovan Mitchell, great performance, but also the state of the NBA in terms of the high volume of scoring that's going on?
You want to start?
Yeah, it's interesting to see because I believe if I'm not mistaken, I think he only had 16 and a half. Either 16 and a half or 16 in the first quarter. So for him to go crazy like that was just that's just unbelievable. And then also be able to factor in the assists that he was able to get as well. So it wasn't just like he was just kind of out there just kind of jacking and stuff. So that's big.
That's true.
In terms of the big numbers, I was informed earlier that it hasn't really been like a serious increase in pace like I thought it might have been. So I think the biggest thing is probably just as Rusty Bucket said, it's like it's more of an efficiency thing. Some of these might be a little bit of an anomaly. Like we talked about the offense being centered around Luka before. Also, we talk about Cleveland. It was a situation where Donovan was kind of had to be that guy because Darius Garland wasn't there. So he kind of went like semi-Kobe mode and just was like, all right, just give me the ball, take over, and while still keeping his guys involved. So I do believe we'll still have like performances every now and then like this where you have the 60s and the 50s and things like that. But I don't know if it'll be as frequent only because, again, as I said, the pace isn't as crazy as I thought. It's not an increase in pace and possessions. It's more just people are being more efficient with their decisions and their shots, and they're making more. So that's how their numbers are. That's how they're able to have like 50, 60-point games while also having like 10 assist type games.
Darius Garland didn't play. Evan Mobley also didn't play. So they was getting blown out. Might as well just get him up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking back at that game, and it's not like he was forcing his shot. You watched the whole game.
Right.
All the shots
Exactly.
looked like they was in rhythm. They
That's
looked
true.
easy for him.
Yeah.
Towards overtime, he started making some threes over like 2 people that was kind of like I could just tell he was in that zone. But it's not like he was forcing his shots, like chasing points. He's just trying to get the one to do what he had to do. 'Cause
Yeah.
Garland and Mobley was out. Based on game score, Basketball Reference has like this thing. The game score is based on like stats and efficiency and all that. I think it's the 3rd greatest of all time. Man, actually might be 2nd. Let me check.
Dang.
Let me check that.
Thought it was
Yes,
I
it's
wonder where
3rd
Lucas
behind Jordan's 69 and Kobe's 81. So at that,
It's 3rd behind Jordan 69, Kobe's 81. Where's Wilt Chamberlain's 100?
Probably not that high.
Is that even on here? I don't know. They might not count that.
It's probably because he didn't have the assists.
It's since 1983 season.
That's crazy.
And we have no proof that actually.
I was there.
You don't know
I
that?
seen it happen. I got the
You
ticket.
forgot he the OG, man. You done seen them all.
And that ticket would probably sell crazy. Like, but you were done?
It's just. I mean, I kind of knew Donovan could do this. I mean, I've been
Oh,
saying.
right.
I've been saying since the start of the year, Donovan Mitchell was him, and people were telling me that Garland was the better player in the backcourt, that he wasn't that good. I mean, Donovan Mitchell is tied for the best shooting guard in the league. He's definitely better than.
I don't want to get caught in the moment. You know, 71 is definitely impressive.
He's average,
And
like,
I was about to up the performance too, but I don't know if I really want to do that. But I'll do it anyway. You know, I'll be the bigger person. 71 is really impressive. It's impressive, especially when you do it on 34 shots.
Yeah.
He wasn't forcing the shots. They needed him to do it. And I can say he might have had more if Karis LeVert wasn't out there jacking shots. Karis LeVert.
Yeah, Karis LeVert is probably the funniest player in the league.
Karis LeVert was getting the ball and throwing the ball up. He was 2 for 13.
Him and Cam Thomas, no matter where they at,
They gonna shoot
get
that
the ball,
bitch.
they shooting that.
Yeah, there's no shot that
I
they
know
don't
we're not
like.
talking about it right now. I mean, I guess it come up. I can say it. Clay had that like with the 55.
Yeah, 54.
Yeah, that one too.
If you watch that game, forget Clay. If you watch what Jordan Poole does on a nightly basis, he either looks like the next coming for that franchise, or he looks like dog water. He does the most irresponsible, crazy shots. The three that I think Dante made to put it to OT. If you watch the whole play, Jordan Poole tries to truck Jonathan Murray, put his shoulder into him, leans back, shoots a 3, and gets blocked.
I
So it's
respect
like-
Jordan
So
Poole
does
game
he?
so
So would
much.
you get?
What?
Would you compare it to like Lakers Jordan Clarkson or that?
Ooh.
Don't disrespect Clarkson like that.
Ooh.
Jordan Clarkson was never that.
I respect
no.
Jordan Poole
You mean
so
Nick Young?
much. You
Nick
know,
Young.
there's no shot Jordan Poole looks at and thinks is a bad shot. I really respect that. You know,
No.
I feel
That's
like
crazy.
I feel
That's
like
crazy.
I mean, because
As a
it
scorer
be
myself.
working. Yeah, as a scorer myself. You know,
Brother.
Is he
Somebody-
working?
yeah.
Have you seen his
For him, no, we're not
Oh.
talking. See,
My
that's
fault.
what. See, keep mentioning efficiency.
Numbers and shit.
When did we start
It's
talking
just
about
my fault.
It's about math and shit.
Come on, man. Jordan Poole, you know, he performed in the playoffs, and efficiency, who cares? You know, they won the chip, man. That's all that matters. And, you know, without Steph, he's been forced to step his game up. So, you know, I don't want to talk about Jordan Poole too much. But I just want to say, yes, I respect his game, you know. But back to the Cavs, man. If Karis LeVert didn't play, I think, man, I don't want to say anything crazy, man. But Donovan Mitchell might have gone for something crazy because, you know, he would pass the ball. You know, he had 11 assists, but he could have had more if Karis LeVert wasn't the person who passed the ball to.
tonight.
But you want to mention anything about
Yeah.
Dono?
Actually, I called everyone on the podcast before the game started, and I said that I feel like Donovan go off today.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I remember that.
I do remember that.
Yeah, I said maybe 60.
Because I ain't pick up the first time. I was asleep, and then you called. Yeah,
You know, because
called
you on
me.
the maybe 60, right? Probably 70.
Probably.
I ain't never get 71 and 11. You know
71,
what I'm saying?
Like, you said 70, but 71 was kind of insane.
It's right there. So, you know, then I put my parlay in after that.
Yeah.
You kind of played the matchup. You was like, them niggas can't guard.
No,
He might
hell
have
no.
missed it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He just missed it, but yeah.
He did just miss the
I
70
was
70 point
yeah.
triple. Hold on, 70-point triple double would have been insane.
That would have been crazy.
Oh my
That
goodness.
would've been crazy.
Whole time line would have been like, y'all don't talk about this the way y'all talk about Luka. I'm like, oh.
For real.
Hold on. The Rockets Twitter hates Luka. They feel like James Harden was so disrespected when he was there.
He
James
wasn't.
Harden had a
That's
whole
crazy.
month
Right.
of people.
Right.
James Harden doing this and
I
this.
seen that.
Like,
Hey, man.
like
They called
Luka is just that guy too. It's
They
okay.
said Harden was the best offensive player of all time during that stretch.
They was tripping.
Literally.
No,
They was saying
don't,
that
Don't
shit.
say nothing crazy. Don't say nothing crazy. Man,
Okay, that's fair.
We can talk about
Top three
that.
what?
Top 3 offensive player of all time.
Since probably like 1980.
We'll save it for another
Since
day.
1980.
We'll save it for
his
another
version of offense doesn't. Never mind.
Nah, we're not. Who's your top 5?
Top 5?
Offensive.
Oh, actually, this
Nah,
give me
my
one.
fault.
Who's the
He
captain?
Are we doing
he not top
scores
three,
or
'cause I
offensive?
don't think he better than KD. I don't think he better
I'm
than
talking
Kobe.
offensive players in general.
I don't think he's better than
LeBron is.
I don't think
MJ,
he's better than KD.
Kobe.
I don't think he's better than
You
Kobe.
didn't say
I don't think he's
LeBron
better than
yet.
Kobe.
You didn't say
Oh, yeah.
What
Steph?
about Jokic? I think Jokic is the best big man, offensive big man ever.
For sure. For
But
sure.
like, do you think he's up there? Right?
Yeah,
Better than
yeah.
Harden.
I'm gonna go with that.
Wait. Do Harden pass better than Kobe?
Well, see, so
Where are you going with this?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
James Harden has the ball better than
It's hard to
almost.
shoot. It's hard to shoot better than Kobe.
Oh God.
What?
Does he
It's
defend?
hard. It's hard.
Where you
We
going
talking
with
about offense. Right?
Oh, I thought you were talking about defense.
Come on, man.
I mean, the whole player.
I
I think you gotta go back and listen to what he just said.
I forgot we were talking about offensive players.
Does he shoot better than Kobe?
That's different. They played in different eras.
Yes or no? Does he shoot better?
We talking about
I
scoring.
guess technically, based on
What's it technically?
Do we
Numbers?
Do we score
Facts?
better than Kobe?
Yeah, facts.
spacing, the spacing
You
on
know,
that.
think about this though. It's also crazy how like you said, offensive players in general have been more efficient more recently. Because think about it, like I was watching this podcast. I think through the wire, Kenny Beecham said something.
Yeah.
He was like in the early 2000s, strictly the ISO ball.
Facts.
It was.
But that's because today you never seen so much talent ever in the history of the NBA.
Right.
And I watched that same podcast. He said Kobe was playing with people who were standing right next to him.
You
Smush
talk about
Parker
Kobe,
wasn't at the
like,
three-point line.
Like even on his best team, not the Shaq team, because Shaq.
I mean, the Shaq team had spacing though. They did.
They did.
Brian Shaw, Ray Fox.
That's not that rocket space. That rocket space.
Well, it's not rocket spacing. Yeah,
I'm just talking about like Kobe. Like who's he? He playing next to Metta World Peace, Derek Fisher, Lamar Odom, Paul Gasol, and Andrew Bynum. Are those some shooters?
Man, that could have been elite spacing if they was playing the game the right way.
That could have been elite spacing.
Lamar Odom.
If they were playing right.
Lamar Odom.
Derek Fisher be shooting that.
You know, spacing, you know.
Ain't he Parks over with the Bulls?
Man,
He wasn't shooting that thing.
He wasn't shooting like that on the Lakers, but he had it in Chicago.
Yeah,
That's why I said they wasn't using him the right way, man.
Who was he? Jackson was using the right way.
It wasn't.
Johnny,
He was running that triangle.
You see why they work in New York?
He was running that triangle, man. Come on.
Yeah,
He was
three
real
finals
James.
appearances.
It's like
What the hell is he doing?
Could have had 5.
You could think about Ray Allen in the same draft as Kobe, right? So they're the same era essentially. But Ray Allen is one of the greatest still shooters of all time. So what does that even?
They play completely different though.
It's not. I'm asking, does he shoot better? That's all I'm
Ray
asking.
Allen shot his best. He was not.
I'm asking, does
going
James?
with Kobe's doing the ISO.
I'm
That was
asking-
Paul Pierce's job in the office. Don't do that.
I'm asking, does James Harden shoot better than Kobe? That's it. Does he shoot better than Kobe?
James Harden shoot better than LeBron then at that point.
What do you do?
And James Harden passed better than LeBron at that point.
No, he don't.
Why not? Why can't I say that?
You said that
Because
loud.
LeBron
So
has better than
blasphemous.
James Harden. That's simple.
Based on what?
The eye test.
Oh, the eye test. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I trust my
We don't
eyes.
use that enough.
I mean, eye test.
We gotta use our eyes more.
You think Kobe Bad's better than Harden?
Eye
No,
test?
no.
Eye test.
No,
Eye
no.
test. That
When
last
the eye
season,
test-
Kobe, 2013.
No. Let's not do that.
Or for pre-Achilles
That might be offense.
Kobe in the eye test is killing James Harden in the eye test.
and passing?
Yeah, I test
Offense.
Playing offensive basketball, man. It's just
Okay,
so much
yeah.
more beautiful.
Oh, God, you right. You got me.
Yeah, that's eye
Like
test.
we
You
would
right.
watch
You
James
based on
Harden and
facts.
be like, "Yay!" It's not moving me.
He
I
did
hate
it.
it. I hate it.
At
I'm
the end of the
sorry.
game, you'd be like, damn, he had 40, 10, and 10. But
It don't be feeling like it.
he shot about 20 goals at the free throw
That's
line.
what I'm
He trying to do
saying.
dudes.
I hate it. I
Playing
hate
his
it.
It's not
hands.
aesthetically pleasing.
You know, part of it is hate. Part of it is me being right about James Harden right now. But part of my agenda comes from hate.
Part hate, part I'm always right.
You know, I don't really, James Harden.
So, like,
you know?
still talking about
We ain't
LeBron,
talking
man.
about him right now, though. We talking about prior
Right.
James
So,
Harden.
Right.
how was Lucas going?
Oh, Lucas scoring. Let's just
We
say
talked about this on the last podcast.
in terms of eye test, Kobe-esque. Let's just say that word then. Like he's not doing it like Harden. He's not doing it like Harden.
Lucas going like who?
He ain't doing it like Kobe.
Ain't nobody. doing like
Okay. He's not doing it like
Nobody
Kobe.
doing
When
like
I say Kobe-esque,
Wait. Forgot about Chris Middleton. But continue.
when I say Kobe-esque, I mean like he's going through all 3 levels. That's all I mean. Rather than Harden, just 2 levels.
Okay.
I'm trying to-
Yeah,
I feel like there's
James
a better
Harden was a really
comparison.
good
Dominant
range guy.
Who?
No.
Donovan Mitchell? Yeah, he was on all 3 levels for sure. That's Kobe-esque. Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't mean like at Kobe's level. It's just in terms of style of scoring, we can get a bucket anytime you want.
Is Kobe a 3-level scorer?
Yes.
Yes.
If he's not 3,
Well,
I
got
don't
a point.
He can shoot. He can
know.
shoot.
Look at-
More,
shooting 31% from
mid-range
He
type
could-
of guy.
I feel like that was because of the era they were in.
Yeah.
No, I'm
But I
not
feel like
with
it-
that.
but
But
that's
I
the
would
question.
I would say T-Mac is a 3-level scorer, but I don't think.
Well, yeah, T-Mac's free off.
Yeah. Who?
But I feel like this is the, I don't want to say the Jason Tatum syndrome, but basically like if Kobe had range, like most of his shots were long 2s. But I feel like if Kobe was playing today, those long 2s would just
really
be
wasn't
one
that.
test.
I'm looking at the
Yeah.
Yeah.
percentage,
When he
man.
played, like he said, he played the same era as Ray Allen. He played the same era as T-Mac, who that's Kobe, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Kobe.
I knew that.
But look, he had some seasons at 36%, man. But of course, the volume isn't always there because there's a lot of players shooting more than 8 threes a game in this era.
Yeah.
But Kobe had,
Like,
I
maybe
think,
like
1 season over 6 attempts. So
What season was that? Was that
let me go back.
That's right now.
36 and 08, 07, 08.
Oh, that is MVP.
Yeah, that's the year they lost to Boston. Oh, but
He got his MVP though, so I don't know. It was worth it. Worked out.
Okay, but think about just talking about good players and sorry teams just being underperforming. We go to the next topic of pretenders and contenders, right?
Yeah.
All right, so the teams are what are they again?
So I'm gonna do one by one. I'm just main team. Y'all
Okay.
see the Contenders Pretenders.
So, contender, we saying like for a championship or
Yeah.
just
Like,
maybe deep in the
you can
playoffs?
see them winning the championship this season. You can
Okay.
see right at this point. You can maybe see them.
Okay.
at the least say they could get to the
I'm
finals.
gonna say, can I
They
say
could win
conference finals? Can I say they contender to get
No,
to
no,
the
no.
finals?
Nah,
Yeah,
get to the
they-
finals.
Consider they get to the finals.
They're finals. They consider it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Contender
All you gotta
At
do
that
is win
point.
another one. You're ready to
Yeah, I can say the
get
Suns can make the conference finals. I don't think
They
they make it.
make it. Exactly.
So I'm
That's
gonna
the
start
point.
with the team with the best record in the NBA right now, which is the Boston Celtics. Even they been currently going through a rough patch.
You're not gonna say
They went 5-5 last 10 games. They got
You gotta
destroyed
look at
by
that for man.
Pretender.
the Shayless Thunder.
Shane Poku
Yeah, so
Dang.
the DRC, however, Boston also has just been looking really, really good this season. They come off a finals run. So DRC was contender pretender. We saw with JG.
I mean, as long as Tatum and JB are playing at what they should be, if they're a contender. But me personally, I don't know if they'll actually beat the Nets or the Bucks.
The Nets.
Brian, you ain't been watching.
Man, you ain't even
No,
watching
I
the
understand that
Nets,
the Nets have been great. Have been
They're on
great.
a 12 game.
It's a little scary. It's a little scary.
I'm not saying
But
they're not scary.
I'll
It's
say
just
this.
like,
Well, we'll get to the Nets. Trust. The Nets are on there,
man.
right?
Yeah, below.
Yeah, we'll get to the Nets.
Basically show what could happen if
Yeah, I mean-
Tatum or JB looking a little goofy. Which is impossible in the playoffs. We've seen Tatum look a little
which
goofy.
I mean, I understand.
But look, that's what I'm banking on. You know, I don't ever want to put too much trust in Jason Tatum, but I'm banking on. You know, he keeps mentioning that finals appearance, like he's holding it as a chip on his shoulder. So I'm hoping that he's using that to motivate his performances in the playoffs. You know, I don't want to see too many 5 for 23, 6 for 18. You know, I don't want to see that in the playoffs or in the finals.
He really wanted us to show.
Hey.
Yo, Wiggins.
But you know, so I'd say the Celtics are a contender to make the finals just because best record in the East. They brought back the same team and added to that team. They added Malcolm Brogdon. So I'd say they have a good chance to make it back to the finals. But if it came down to, if I was asked today, do I see them beating the Nets / the Bucks? No, but I'd say they're in that series at least. And hopefully one of those other teams take each other out as a Celtics fan.
Yeah.
And you only got to worry about one of them. That's
You
why.
gotta finish with that one
Yeah,
seed.
that's why the 1 seed is so essential because they're not that good this year.
Contender. But any team with Blake Griffin on it is just
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, very nice.
Added Blake Griffin too, but can't count out Marcus
So,
Smart.
I'll hopefully come on the court. Blake Griffin be walking on.
No. Luke Cornett.
Yeah.
Luke.
Well, no. Rob Williams because Rob Williams ain't starting yet.
Is he hurt still? Was
No,
he
no,
back.
They're just
back?
man. Yeah, he's back. They're just gonna be managing.
Okay.
Kawhi.
I don't think he played.
Are Clippers on this list?
we only on one team right now, bro.
We ain't get out of the conference yet.
I was
Yeah.
just asking. It was on my mind.
Yeah, so I would say same thing. Contenders. I understand the bad game that we just had against OKC, but I think kind of like Jalen Brown said, you know, I think it's a situation where I think the Celtics they don't deserve to do this yet because they haven't even won. But it's a situation where kind of like Jalen said, where they pick and choose. Like sometimes when they want to bring effort, and I think that was on display against OKC, who again was missing Shea, and was missing Poku. So I think come playoff time, they won't be turning on any switches, but I think they'll be more consistent in their effort, and I think because of that, along with the chip on the shoulder that JT seems to be playing with right now, I still have them in the Bucks as the clear top two in that tier. The Nets are right there too, but I still have the Celtics and Bucks. So I do believe they beat the Nets. I'm still not completely confident about beating the Bucks if Middleton's healthy, but yeah, that's where I'm at. So I have them as a contender.
We want to just jump into the Bucks? No.
Yeah, might as well go straight to the
Whoa,
Bucks.
is that the other team?
I mean, it's part of things. All those hated teams.
Yeah, I mean-
Yeah, we do
We put in the Bucks.
I say contender.
Contenders.
Speaking of the Bucks, they're a contender in my eyes. They ain't on the Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yeah,
Yes.
there it is. And Chris Middleton. And I mean, we have those two. The sky's the limit. But speaking of them, they was up 18 with 3 minutes left. They blew the lead on an OT.
Who are they playing?
The Raptors.
Okay. Checks out.
Yeah,
Who's the
checks
next
out.
team?
Right now, also Milwaukee, it's 4-6 in the last 10.
Yeah, they have been struggling.
They're struggling.
Middleton's been out, and Holiday's been hurt too.
So we can hit the West real quick. Do the best team in the West, tie for the best team in the West, the Denver Nuggets.
Dang.
With the potential to do third time MVP, third time in a row. Aaron Gordon stepped up. He got Jamal Murray, has been great.
Yeah, he started.
This is kind of hard.
I want to say when you have an MVP player, you should be a contender. But when your teammates is Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr., and Jamal Murray, you know.
Second best player has been Aaron Gordon.
I think this is an underrated team they have around.
You said what?
I think this team is underrated.
Yeah,
I just think
I
they
agree.
have to play to their ceiling. But you can go ahead.
I
I think
agree.
they're a contender, but I think it really comes down to if Michael Porter Jr. or Jamal Murray go back to what they used to be. Because right now they're kind of when they used to be like all-star level players. So that's what it really comes down to.
I agree because I think the ceiling of this team is easily a contender,
Yeah.
and it's easily has a chance to win a championship. Sadly, I'm not as big of a believer as Michael Porter as some others may be, but I think this is one of the best teams they've put around Jokic, and this is probably the time for them to strike. So this is the year that Jamal Murray and Michael Porter, they got to figure it out because they've both been struggling to start the season. Aaron Gordon has been consistent. That's all you can ask for from him at this point. But he's been much better than they've anticipated. 3-and-D, and he's doing more than that. But yeah, if they all figure it out, I think they can be a contender. And yeah.
I like you said, I really like their roster. They're not reaching the ceiling at this moment. I like the moves they made with the offseason, getting Bruce Brown, getting the KCP.
Yeah.
Great moves in terms of just showing up that defense. I'm going to say pretender, man. Just due to the fact that Jamal Murray and Michael Porter are still coming off. Remember, last season they didn't play.
Yeah.
It typically takes another year after the one you play once you're injured.
Yeah.
That was complicated. It takes 2 years.
Yeah, year 2 is usually when they come back to
Just
being like
for ACLs especially. Michael Porter,
Right.
his what is it?
Back, probably.
Yeah.
But back, you usually back all the time. Like,
yeah.
that shit gonna hurt.
I don't know if I don't know.
It might be a chronic
Yeah,
injury.
the back.
Yeah. That's what since high school.
He's had that, high school college.
So I mean that and their minutes with Jokic off the floor is terrible. Their backup big rotation is not that good either. So
Would you go get Demarcus again and just let him play?
DeMarcus too.
DeMarcus Cousins wasn't bad for them last year.
wasn't.
The only issue is that he doesn't defend. But
it's like getting Jokic again.
Jokic has been better defensively.
He has.
he has, but
Yeah.
we're saying the backup.
Well,
center
Jokic
rotation.
hasn't been bad defensive for like 2 years now.
No,
He's been average.
we're talking
He's
about
been
DeMarcus
average.
Cousins.
He's been average.
DeMarcus Cousins is below average.
He is.
Yeah.
That's the point.
I'm saying
No,
the
we're
style
saying for the backup center because
Who's the backup center now?
DeAndre Jordan.
is Zeke
Or
Naji.
Zeke
Zeke
Naji.
Naji.
Najee been disappointed in others.
Yeah.
Jordan Jordan's pretty good.
No,
No.
he's so pro.
No.
Yeah.
He got a new
Zeke-
clip though.
Zeke Naji
He
is
shot
well.
that 3. He posted on Instagram all the season.
It's just like that too.
Hey, textbook.
Textbook. Hey,
Textbook.
wrist formation.
Yeah.
What? The Lakers started JT. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
LeBron's not playing. Who else?
I thought they would move Russell. My fault for thinking they would move Russell Westbrook up.
No,
Shame
it's
on me.
man.
Nope.
Shame on me.
Yeah, so I have them as a contender. I think they're kind of where Brandon was talking about with the Mavericks, where like maybe you want to make maybe an incremental move in the offseason to like become like a true contender. But yeah, I'd say I think probably if Murray can start to kind of like put some games together going into the home stretch, going into the playoffs, I think they'll be a live dog. But as everybody said, the ceiling is basically where how Murray and MPJ play. But I think I have a little bit more faith in Murray than MPJ if I have to rely on somebody in the playoffs to be that second option.
And the thing is, if Murray gets to where Murray needs to be, I think they're still a contender, even if Michael Porter doesn't necessarily reach his full potential.
Exactly.
Because if Murray's supposed to be the second best player on the team. If he gets to where he was performing in the bubble, right? Yeah. if he gets, not necessarily dropping 50 points in a game, but, you know, if he's back to being their perimeter scoring option when they need a bucket in isolation, because Jokic is as great as he is, he can create as many shots, but the defense is sending doubles and triples. People got to knock down shots. And that's why they brought KCP and Bruce Brown in for it. Bruce Brown and KCP also defend as well. But Jamal,
playing pretty well.
he has. And Jamal Murray has to be able to, you know, get his buckets on the perimeter and make the defense worry about something other than Jokic. But right now, they not even worried about him.
Gotta be there, Donovan Mitchell.
KCP, another former Laker, that's playing well. What's next
Who y'all trading for?
Who do we trade him for?
Yeah.
Great.
The
I
guy
think Russell Westbrook. 6th man of the year.
Ooh,
you know
really?
he's the odds favorite right now?
For real?
Yes. Have you seen the true shooting percentage? It's like 41.
I saw you posted today.
Time to
Yeah.
bet on
That's
somebody
really
else.
insane.
That's
41%.
Yeah, 41 in true shooting is crazy.
Next thing we want to do, we'll stay in the West because there's another tie for
Yeah.
first place, which is Memphis. Where Ja, he did say, can't worry about nobody in the West.
Oh, I was gonna say that was cool.
Didn't proceed to lose like 6.
Yeah, he told us they good.
So, this is tough.
I don't see it.
It's a contender because
Oh,
John Morant is
I don't know.
a top 10 player in the league. So, and you know, Jaren Jackson's starting to come back to form. I think so. And Steve Adams is an underrated big man in the league. And then the problem is, I don't know if y'all been paying attention. I don't know what's up with Desmond Bain. Ever since he came back since injury, he's been god awful.
Really?
So yeah, like,
he's
really
been very bad.
Oh wow.
Like he hasn't even hit 20 points in like 5-7 straight games.
You turned to PJ Tucker.
Look like him.
Nah,
That's
not
what I'm saying.
He's starting to shoot. Desmond Bain shooting that joint. He ain't going
You know who is going to shoot it? Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
So basically, they got 2 Dylan Brooks on the team right now.
Damn.
They got 2
Yeah.
Dylan Brooks. It's hard to win the play. They still win
Yeah,
games.
that offense without Ja looks crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
But
That exact.
Ty Jones not that bad.
Yeah,
no,
he's
he's a good point guard, but
It's like
He
nobody's
passed
winning
well.
out of
Yeah,
that.
the shot creators,
You know, it's
because a lot of the time they stagger Ja and Desmond Bain's minutes because they expect Desmond Bain to be the 24 point per game scorer he was at the beginning. Because some people were telling us that it was the best backcourt in the league. That was a lie. But
I don't think that was that crazy. At the
no,
time.
That's not that
yeah,
crazy.
at the time,
That was not crazy.
Okay, you predicted the injury.
It was
No, I
25.
predicted him to not average 25. That's insane. Desmond Bain, come on.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not.
But yeah,
progression of his stats.
I'd say pretender.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I see the potential for the team to eventually be a contender, but I don't know if I've said this on this podcast. But I don't know if they'll ever reach their full potential as a team until Jaren Jackson is playing the 5, and they're not gonna put him at the 5 until he's getting rebounds like a real big man does. Jaren Jackson be having games where he gets 3 rebounds a game, and so you got to keep Steven Adams. No, he was doing that. No, he was doing that before Steven Adams got there though.
AD now?
And like, I didn't really love the Jonas Valanciunas for Steven Adams trade last year because I'm a big guy on spacing, and Jonas Valanciunas can at least sit on the perimeter and have the threat of knocking down a shot. And sometimes the paint seems a little clogged, but Steven Adams and John Morant have a good 2-man game going. But I think the team can really unlock itself if Jaren Jackson was at the 5. I thought Brandon Clark was the 4. Maybe they need to find somebody to play the 4 for them.
He puts Iron Williams there for real.
If he reaches that potential, they could. But Jaren Jackson eventually got to be a man and go get some rebounds so they can just let Steven Adams, you know.
Come on, the bench.
Steven Adams only 29. I'm saying
Right.
like he about to go retire,
Right.
Just like when it's crunch time.
Jaren Jackson needs to be at the 5 in crunch time, and I assume they do so in the playoffs. But at times, you just never know how he's going to go against players like Jokic. Even Draymond could be out there bullying him.
I don't know. They kind of like that big man they got off the bench too. I'm trying to think. I can't.
Not
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, he plays the 4.
Oh, yeah, he nice. He nice.
So they would like to have him at the 4 and Jaren Jackson at the 5.
Yeah, they hate Brandon Clark for some reason. I don't know what he did.
He
Whenever they got the new coach, Brandon Clark, they hate Brandon Clark, man. He can come to Boston, though.
Yeah.
I think Pretender, I knew this Pretender at the start of the season before it even started, honestly. I don't know, people having their first seed, which is cool. I'm not that surprised at their first seed because the West has just been it's so much parity right now. But looking at the offseason, they traded Anthony Melton for Danny Green, who's an ESPN analyst. And then they added 3 rookies to their rotation.
He's a podcaster. Get it straight.
My bad.
No, he be on ESPN.
Hold on, he still got the
He's the
same
first.
mohawk?
He's the first
He's
active
still
player
got
to
the
be
podcast.
on ESPN and an active NBA player at the same time. You know, he's
JJ
not
Redick
really
first?
active.
No, he was driving.
No.
JJ
JJ
Redick.
Redick was a podcaster. He just got on the ESPN.
You're
Right. And he still got that mohawk at 37 years old?
I think he does. I
Forget
don't
them
think he
all.
cut
He
it.
has a bullseye tattoo.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
You never seen that?
How many more?
What they say? Is he a brother? Is he a cornball brother?
Yeah.
But no, I don't believe him still. I know what I meant to ask. You said the quote that Josh said. Should I do it to him?
Should I do it to him?
That was funny. But
That was hilarious.
Would he get suspended for that? Can he get
no.
No, you just gotta pay the money to the guy.
If they got video of him actually doing it, probably.
Nah.
It was video.
Hold on, yeah.
Did Draymond just
no. You know how long they held that Camaro video? That video dropped right before the second round of playoffs, man. They got the video, trust. If that was in a public gym, the video was on, trust me. They just waiting to drop it.
Go ahead, bro.
You're right. Soon as somebody threw the ball at
Yeah.
John, they flipped the camera out.
Yo, this John Morant. Like you ain't even, you can't even see what he's gonna say in the video. It's just
He put his chin on his shoulder.
and then this man said, "Yeah, stole him." 17. He ain't even know how old he was. He thought he was a grown man.
Facts. Yeah.
Stole a high schooler. You can go ahead though.
I got one more thing. Why did high school just let Josh walk up like that? And then when I heard him ask,
He's 17. He's a little boy.
why he
Should've
keep
said,
standing there?
"Nah,
He should have ran, man.
It's John Moran.
He
He
didn't
didn't
think he
even
was gonna do something.
steal me.
He right. He ran.
He
He
gonna
John gonna chase him down.
He seen the high school picture.
I'm about to say, yeah, this
Sperry.
yeah, with the ankles out. Come on, man.
I don't blame him.
No, he probably was like, he an NBA player. He not gonna hit me for real, because then I'm assuming. He saw the
He
money.
probably ain't even think about that for real. He told his parent, "I'm like, what happened to your eye? John Morant punched me. Oh, we suing him. That's what it's
Money.
John
bag.
Morant, Demetrius. Yeah.
To be
That gritty boy? Oh, money.
Gritty boy.
Number 12 for the Grizzlies.
Gritty boy.
They said it was in Tennessee too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He acted a fool.
At home?
Yeah, man. Like you wasn't
This
even
shit was
back
too
in
easy.
South Carolina.
They set him up.
Yeah. Like JB and JG both said, I mean, I got him as a pretender. I love Ja. One of my top 5 players right now. Like favorites. Not top 5 in terms of NBA.
God no.
So I love Ja. It felt like this was going to be a continuation of what they did last year. But like we said, Desmond Bain has regressed. And I think between that and what CT said about Triple J, I just don't see them. I don't see them advancing too far. Second round probably their ceiling in my mind.
No, second round. I can see them getting to the conference final. I just don't know them.
I mean, yes.
And that's okay, though, because...
It is.
Yeah, it's not always a straight income.
We live in a microwave society though, so everybody's ready for stuff to happen so fast.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
No, I get that. I'm just saying natural progression in terms of like
But I
Bain
feel
getting
like
better. Brooks
This situation
improving.
is fine because I believe, there's no reports, where people say, oh, Ja doesn't like Memphis. There's always reports whenever Dallas loses in the playoffs where it's like, is Luka going to ask out? It's like they're so worried about the player potentially leaving.
Nah,
That's
Memphis
the
is
same thing
perfect
with
for Ja.
same thing with the Celtics because Jason Tatum, he loves the Lakers for some reason. Well, he loves
Oh,
Kobe,
my God.
so Lakers fans associate that with
What do you
So,
mean? He clearly lost the purple and gold.
That dick eating in the playoffs was crazy. You're in the finals, nigga.
We're in the,
You gotta
Eastern
Kobe
Conference
armband?
Finals. Eastern Conference Finals where it
Eastern
is.
Conference. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Game 7.
That's crazy.
He
bro.
went like,
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he went like 8 for 23.
Hey, Kobe, I'm gonna do
He
it for you,
texted
bro.
Kobe?
I'm doing it for you, bro.
He did do that.
I'm gonna stop talking.
Now, if
That was-
Jimmy
I
Butler hit
forgot
that
about
trade, if Jimmy Butler hit that
No, no,
transition 3,
Hey, no more talking about the Celtics.
I don't want to talk about that Jason Tatum Kobe pick, but you know what pick I'm talking about.
I'm gonna stop talking.
we're not gonna talk about that one. But yeah.
I mean, he's wearing the jersey already, man. He probably got hanging on his wall right now. He said, "Can I take this with me home?" I bet he did.
Should I do it?
Yeah, so we gonna get that there. We're 24.
But
Next team will be not probably. It is the hottest team in the league right now. Brooklyn Nets.
For sure.
Absolutely.
For
the
sure.
contender. Yeah, so I'll start. I obviously have him as a contender. I thought it was going to be a situation where they were going to need another coach. Jacques Vaughn has proved me wrong. On that front, he's done a very good job.
I don't think they needed another coach. They just had to get rid of Steve Nash.
See, I get what you're saying. Because when I heard reports about like how the shoot-arounds would be too complicated and things of that nature, it'd be like, yeah,
Also,
it
it's
makes
like
sense. But
I understand you have KD and Kyrie, like two of the best ISO players of all time, but it's like it comes to a point like I feel like that was their whole offense.
yeah,
I feel like they have more ball movement and stuff now. Even still, they still got the ISO players because KD and Kyrie, but the whole team's kind of getting involved, and they actually seem to like their coach. It didn't seem like they like Steve Nash.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I mean that makes sense. But yeah, that's just where I was because of the way it looked. But KD's played pretty well. Kyrie's had a very underrated season. People haven't really been talking about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's done really well so far. He stayed out Stayed out of the controversy for a little bit.
Yeah, Kyrie's ball close freedom.
Yeah, so he stayed out of controversy a little bit, but yeah, they're just playing well. They've improved defensively, which was like the biggest thing between them being like a contender to pretender.
Yeah,
Nick Claxton is
I didn't know.
good.
I didn't know this Claxton was that good on defense. He's looking like. I'm not sure what the defensive player of the odds is right now, but he got
Probably
to be top.
I think Brook Lopez probably.
No, he fell off.
He got fell off. There's no way Claxton has worse odds than Brook Lopez.
But
So
Nick
I don't
Claxton's
know,
been
by the
really
way.
good this year.
What?
The Bulls just ended the Nets 12-game win streak.
That's so unfortunate.
Right on time.
But I don't-
Man, this
Right
is
on time. I'm about to go.
KD and Kyrie put up 69 points together.
One
Yeah,
year enough.
exactly.
However,
Got 13.
Pat Williams put up 22.
That's crazy.
22.
Yep, DeRozan put up 22, and Vucevic put up 21.
So all that Nicholas Claxton talk just for them to get beat on the interior.
Well,
This is crazy.
I mean, hold up now. That's one game. That's
I know I'm being facetious.
I mean, like.
Seth Curry came off the bench, dropped 22 for the Nets.
I'd be forgetting he even on the team sometimes.
That was a huge addition that they.
Every team he on, he the X factor. Royce O'Neal had 0 points. I was about to start talking about
He's
Royce
a
O'Neal
partial
today,
X
too.
factor. I think Ben Simmons is like the true X factor.
Yeah, so
I would hope so. His contract.
anything I was about to say about Royce O'Neal, it's not being said now because he went 0 for 8 and he had 0 points. But Nick Claxton's been really good this year.
Yeah.
Surprising people because it was looking a little questionable in last year's playoffs.
Yes.
But I'd say contender.
Have the free throws improved, or is he still struggling?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Define
I don't
improve.
even
What
know.
percentage would you like to hear to say improvement?
65.
At least
consider where he
I would
was
say at least 50.
Nowhere close.
He
All right.
is 46.
He's still not at 50.
Nah.
Man,
I was about to say-
that hack of Claxton goes
Hack of
crazy, bro.
Joe Harris hasn't. I don't think Joe Harris has been that good this year. He had 2 points today. But if he can get things turned around, he's also coming off an injury, so hopefully, you know.
That might.
But he's a shooter, you know.
That would construct his whole ankle.
Yeah. And
Probably about to say, but that probably helps that you have Steph Curry, so that way.
Yeah. And then
You know.
once if you get both of them on the court together, take Royce O'Neal off. 'Cause I
Man.
ain't talking about him no more. And then you got a real solid closing unit 5. You got Kyrie, the 2 shooters, Joe and Seth, KD, and then you got Nick Claxton out there.
Just gotta find a way to keep him from getting fouled.
That might be awful.
Yeah,
Man.
that might be.
We
that
talking
might be
about 4
offensive
minutes left.
basketball
Yeah,
right
come on,
Not
man.
my fault.
We
Spiritual
talking about
moves.
going to get a bucket. And they got
You think-
I forgot about Ben
What are you
Simmons.
talking
Sorry,
about?
I forgot about Ben. I don't know.
Shouldn't Ben Simmons run the 5?
He probably should because he get hit because he's probably a better free throw
You
shooter.
was just talking about Nick Claxton on defense, man. I don't know.
I mean, but Ben is.
It depends on who
defensive
you're
player
playing.
candidate,
It
but
depends
he's-
on who you're playing. You could be playing a team like the Celtics who plays 2 centers. Then you need Ben Simmons and maybe Nick Claxton on the court. at
Then
the
you
same
probably
time.
take Steph Curry
I
on
do
to do
believe
that.
that Ben Simmons is probably the best perimeter defender for the Nets.
No, he
You
is.
need Ben Simmons on the
So
I
it's
just
like-
forgot he was on the team.
I'm not mad at you. I forgot
you,
too.
you need him on the court, especially
Yeah.
with Claxton having this type of all these teams.
So would you do it? Would you do something where it could be like KD, Simmons, Claxton, or would one of those 3 have to? Either Simmons.
I
or
would do
Claxton
something
have
with
to
all
go.
where they all playing.
It depends on if Joe Harris is shooting that ball, you got to play
Yeah,
him and
but
Seth.
yeah.
You have to. You have to because you can't have 2 non-shooters on the court in the playoffs.
Yeah.
If Joe Harris
And
is
in the
able,
meantime, I
capable.
would rather play
Simmons and Claxton, I don't know. I'm sorry. You can't have, especially when you're trying to play isolation basketball with 4 minutes left in the game. You need to go get a bucket. The paint is going to be clogged.
Yeah,
you got
it'll be
Ben
clogged.
Simmons right there, Nick Claxton right there. As much as you want to say, yeah, maybe you can just spread them out a little bit. The defense ain't respecting Ben Simmons right. And
Yeah,
the
they're
people
standing
and
right
they
at the-
definitely not respecting Nick Claxton.
Standing right at the
They
box.
might be running Hacker Claxton, so he
I'm
might
not
not even be
sure.
able to be on the court.
Well,
Exactly.
actually, with both of them on the court, I'm not even sure if KD and Curry get a shot at.
So
They
yeah,
might just foul Ben
you
Simmons.
gotta have have to have Joe Harris and Steph Curry on the court, or maybe Royce O'Neal if
Or-
he, you know,
What's
If
that?
he-
because he's shooting
Shooting.
43% from 3 this year. I'm acting like you know
What's that
the
boy
one
name for the
game.
Nets? Is it Wannabe?
Oh, Watanabe?
Oh, I forgot.
He
Yeah.
shoot it too.
He is.
He doing the work too.
How is he
But no,
defensive?
I think Royce O'Neal.
Yeah.
I do think Royce O'Neal is a part of that 5-man rotation for now.
Yeah.
If Joe Harris gets the shot around, it's either him or Royce O'Neal at that point. But I don't know if you can have Claxton and Simmons on the court to close out a game at the same time.
Okay.
2 non-shooters in today's league is almost a death sentence if you're trying to close out a game.
So, given all the information y'all just gave, I will give my answer now. Thank you, Kid, for also mentioning that they lost and their streak's over. What's up, you guys want to say? What's up?
I did not know Royce O'Neal shooting 43% from 3.
I just said
He's a
that.
good shooter. Yeah,
I
for sure.
did not.
He's
41%
in
from the
Utah.
field. though.
It's 3% on his football percentage. All right, damn.
Stop driving him, man.
Yeah, pretender. That's my answer.
Hmm.
I thought Pretender this whole time. I mean, went 12-game win streak, cool. Well, they won 13 of the last 14 also.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
why did you look at me crazy when I went the Nets and when you was talking about the Celtics?
Pretender would.
The Nets beating the Celtics?
Yeah.
That's why I
like
look at you
earlier.
crazy, because they're Pretender.
The Celtics
Exactly.
are a pretender?
No, the Nets are Pretender.
Exactly. So I was
No,
looking at
he was saying that. No, I was looking at you like that. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody was looking at me because I was like the Nets, and he was like,
You know, I don't believe in them, man.
You don't believe in
The Nets.
team, or you don't believe in KD and Kyrie in the playoffs?
That's the team.
The Nets. If stuff goes wrong, the Nets kind of remind me of a team that they use this phrase for the Cowboys a lot. What can go wrong will go wrong.
Yes.
The Nets remind me of that recently, but I'd like to believe that Kevin Durant and Kyrie can figure things out for this year, because Kyrie's contract wasn't renewed. He's supposed to be a free agent. So I'm assuming they don't know what's happening in the next year. Kyrie's been on his best behavior recently. Hopefully, if everybody stays healthy, I'd like to think that this is a team that can compete. But I can see where he's about.
I would say if they had. I'm sorry, Jalen, but if they have a freer flowing offense could play all the time, that could probably help too. Because the biggest thing against the Celtics was you were putting KD or Kyrie at the top of the key, and then the whole defense was just able to focus on them because they were the whole offense. Whereas now, if you're moving and cutting and passing everything, and you got the shooters out there, like CT says, you have more options that you have to deal with.
That team was playing Blake Griffin, man. Like,
Yeah, I'm just drumming. Yeah, I'm just drumming.
Come on now.
But even still, just we talk about all the players on the team. That's part of the problem. It's such thing as having too much depth. The Clippers have a good balance of where there are enough. Well, with Kawhi missing games, of course, there's enough versatility.
I don't think this will happen. Go ahead.
Oh, it's gonna happen. I'm saying you up, right? There you go.
Yeah.
All their players are different. You got Seth Curry, Joe Harris, Patty Mills, all just 3-point shooters. That's it. You got, and YouTube Watanabe also, for my assumption.
Yeah.
TJ Warren too.
I'm gonna say TJ Warren. It's all these players that you're forgetting to mention because it's a lot of them that deserve time. He's not playing. He's not. Damar Shot not playing either. But all these are supposed to get time, right?
So it's almost like the 2019 Celtics in terms of having a whole bunch of shot creators, or
not shot creators. It's just redundancy amongst their depth, and it's to a point where you can't even play anyone to get enough rhythm, except for Kyrie and KD. And Ben don't need rhythm because he's not shooting the ball anyways. But you think of the 5 best players?
You need room for a sub shot.
Right, my bad.
He don't do that.
The 5 best players, you can't put them on the floor together. That's the big problem also. So I like Claxton what he's done this season. Very solid season, right?
Yeah.
But if you want Ben, where you said Ben should be at 5.
Yeah, well, he said this.
In closing units,
that's not going to happen because Ben don't go. He can't go.
Can't or won't.
Probably both. Well, I will say it's just like a shooting. It's just like a shooting. I haven't seen him do a consistent basis. He played with Joel Embiid, but I know Ben as a roamer on defense.
Yeah.
That's where he's at his best.
Yeah, he's not much of a. He's going to base our defense around Ben Simmons.
But he's also great 1-on-1.
Yes.
But that's main issue is.
Exactly.
Yeah, the main issue is Ben Simmons is so good at multiple things on defense, but at the same time you can only let him do one thing. But he's their only defender in that primary lineup. KD's a pretty decent help defender. And if you have Royce O'Neal is decent enough.
Yes.
On the defensive end. But if you have Steph Curry out there, Kyrie tries.
He does.
Steph Curry is not known for trying. Joe Harris, you got his ankle reconstructed. You got to excuse him.
Yeah.
But it's all defense is about effort a lot of the time. But sometimes some people don't have enough to give.
They do have the 10th best defense in the league right now, but I just don't believe in it's withstanding that long, especially in the playoffs where they have.
So you think once teams actually get the game plan, it'll be tougher for them defensively?
Their players have enough holes in their game where they can every single one of them can be picked apart, pretty much, except KD.
Yeah, because I know for sure, like if Steph's on the court, they're gonna try to go ahead.
That looks like easy money.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Joe Harris and Kyrie and Patty Mills and
forgot about Patty Mills.
So yeah, but are there any other teams left?
Yeah, there's a few teams left, but one more extensive. It's up to y'all. This is one they're not. Pelicans.
Oh, that's a hard one.
We haven't seen them at full strength lately.
Yeah, so I'm gonna.
And we're not gonna see them at full strength for a few weeks because they just came out. The Zion's out for a few weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll start this off. This
like
is
clockwork.
It's probably pretty premature, and I'll probably look crazy, look like in 2-3 months when I say this. But I'm gonna say they're a pretender.
I agree.
Because even though they have guys like Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and a guy C.J. McCollum who's a really good third option, they just don't have. They don't have Alonzo Ball. They don't have a guy that can like set them up, get them in their offense. It feels like the Celtics from last year, but without the defense. They don't have that playmaker who can settle everybody down, get them in the offense, and make things happen.
But let him finish first.
I mean, but that's why I'd say CCT had a rebuttal.
I don't know if CJ isn't that guy. I just don't know that we've known him to be that guy throughout his career. I think CJ can be a point guard. He's at that point. Being a point guard isn't necessarily, racking up the assists because the ball oftentimes won't be in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, you need the guy to settle offense down, settle the team down as a whole, being that team leader. Celtics didn't have that. We had Marcus Smart at point guard. Marcus Smart is a team leader, but he doesn't have the ability to, set up guys off the dribble the way that you would want your point guard to do. I think the difference with C.J. McCollum is, of course, his whole career he's been a scorer first. But I do think we've seen him this year be selfless enough where he's recognized that the younger players on his team, Zion and Brandon Ingram, are the people who the team needs to play around. I do think they're a pretender just because I just don't know if they're ready yet.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if they did it because I think Brandon Ingram and Zion are high level talents to the point where they may have one of the most talented rosters in the West, and that could carry them to the playoffs. Their depth isn't as strong as other teams may be, but they have 3-and-D players. They have lockdown defenders like Herb Jones. Trey Murphy is a great defender. He also knocks down the three. So they have the role players around them. Jonas Valanciunas, he may not be the perfect big next to Zion, but like I mentioned earlier when the Grizzlies traded him, he's somebody who's respectable enough from the three-point line where the paint isn't clogged. That's when Steven Adams was with the Pelicans, I hated it. Because he was clogging the paint with Zion, and that's who really needs the paint open. But Jonas Valanciunas is able to keep the paint open. So they have the roster, but at the same time, they're still a young team. They run into a more experienced team or a team that has already been in that playoff situation. I could see them losing in that series.
Think about it, though. In the West, there hasn't been experienced teams that's been deep into the playoffs. The deepest team, you would say Denver, you could say the Clippers.
The Warriors.
Yeah, go to State, but
right now, in this moment.
But see, the teams that I don't even know if we have these teams on our list, but the Warriors and Clippers, the Warriors are on a completely different tier than the Clippers. But the Clippers have Kawhi. Don't really know what Kawhi is at this point in his career.
Yeah.
We do know what PG is though. I think PG got that monkey off his back. I said that, PG got the monkey off his back. The playoff performances. Man, I'm so glad we got this opportunity to talk about the Clippers, man. But I think the Clippers have wait. The Clippers, they're an experienced playoff team where they've made the deep runs, but they've been looking towards making that finals run. They had the opportunity. Kawhi got hurt. PG tried his best 2 years ago, gave it his best effort. Looked like they almost had it, but the Suns were just a better team. But the Clippers are an experienced team, and the Warriors, to a different degree, they saying Steph might come back in a couple weeks. It's looking crazy for the West if he does, because the Warriors really figured themselves out with him and Wiggins. I don't even know when Wiggins is supposed to come back.
Yeah.
But if a team runs into a team like the Warriors are more experienced, know what to do in different moments. The Pelicans have not been there. They played the Suns last year, and I don't know if any of us are going to say the Suns are contenders this year. But, the Suns have been there too, so they know the moment. The Pelicans know the playoff atmosphere, but they don't know that Warriors playoff atmosphere. It gets a little different against the Warriors and maybe against the Clippers too.
So really quickly to go back to the Pelicans, do you think
We let him slide?
Yes.
Yeah, good points.
So
You didn't hear his very last point?
What's the point?
He said the Warriors playoff atmosphere is different. And then he said maybe the Clippers.
Let me let that slide.
Okay.
The Warriors part definitely true.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I
I
was
don't
just
know
gonna
what Clippers.
Steve Ballmer yelling at you in the face. Pretty much it.
say, this is crazy.
And Kawhi might.
No, so I was just gonna say,
Kawhi might put Brandon Ingram.
do you think this?
Crazy?
Do you think it's?
And it's like
I mean, I
15
guess we
minutes.
all have an idea of what it should be, but do you think the Pelicans are still figuring out their pecking order between Zion and?
What
Do
pecking
we
order?
do we know
what,
it?
What pecking order?
Because we haven't.
I'm assuming it would be Zion as the one and Brandon
Throughout the
is the two.
stretch of the game,
I'm
but
confused about that. Are the players confused?
No, I'm saying,
No.
do you think they still need to figure
When's
this
the
out,
last
or do
time
you think
Brandon Ingram
they
played?
have it?
when is Brandon Ingram coming back?
I don't know. He hasn't played.
But the thing is,
I think he came back.
I thought
He's been
Just
out for a
recently?
minute.
He just came back.
He just came out like a game or two ago.
okay.
Oh,
But
damn.
the thing is, when Brandon Ingram was out, that was like the first time where Zion was able to work on his ability to close games out. And there were multiple games where he was closing the game out with the ball in his hands. It wasn't just people dumping the ball off to him. He was able to do stuff. He was getting the ball off the catch, bringing the ball up the court and doing things. We as fans hadn't really seen it as often because, one, he wasn't playing. And two, when he did play, Brandon Ingram was their team's closer. And there's nothing wrong with that because Brandon Ingram is a pretty good closer in today's NBA. But Zion is, he's the number one on that team. But at that point in time, Brandon Ingram was the closer because he's the person who scores at all three levels. We've seen him do it before. We can foresee him doing it in the future. Zion is doing it now too. So maybe it's not a 1A, 1B situation. Maybe the Pelicans want Zion to be the closer, the guy who closes out games for them. But, it's nice to have a Brandon Ingram too, but I'd still want to see Brandon Ingram come back into the fold and see how it goes with Zion being the clear number one.
Yeah, I was going to say another potential nasty question. Because, of course, Zion can actually dribble.
Take this off. That was crazy.
Because Zion can actually dribble, but, do you think it could be a Kobe and Shaq situation where Zion dominates early and then Brandon Ingram takes over?
Kobe?
Brandon Ingram.
And who's the shot?
Zion Williamson.
Okay.
This is why I said it's going to be a nasty question.
Hey, I mean...
Oh, no.
Can we give our answers and then wrap it up?
Should we answer that?
No.
Should we not answer that?
You answer it?
We didn't
Well, yeah,
answer
they
it.
didn't answer it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it.
What, Doug?
Yeah, I'm going to keep mine quick.
Pretender, but not because of Ingram and Zion, it's because of the point guard CJ McCollum.
Okay. It was hard, but I'm going to say contender. I think that's similar to the Grizzlies last year. They'll probably face a more veteran team and lose, but I like what I seen with Zion. I think this might be his coming out year. Pause. Can I say pause?
I don't think you have to say pause. I'm glad you let everybody know.
Alright, so I'm going to do a quick name team. I'm going to say pretenders. Alright. First team I'm going to say Dallas Mavericks.
Pretender.
Contender.
Phoenix Suns.
Pretender.
Hate them.
Philadelphia.
Pretender.
Contender.
Be so for real. Come on, guys. Is James Harden
Second round is their ceiling in there, so.
Golden State.
Pretender.
Contender.
Pretender.
Woo!
As long as Steph Curry's alive.
Exactly. Still Curry there.
Last team I'm going to say are the Clippers.
Contender.
Dang.
You go first, Jay.
Dang. That's hard, man.
Is it?
Yes,
it is.
Because Kawhi is literally their X factor.
Yeah.
Lakers.
Who you got? You said y'all both said contender?
He said pretender. That's all I'm trying to think.
Dude. Right now they fourth in the West, I think, or third. Six.
I'm gonna
4 games.
West really close.
How far are they from the first?
4 games.
That's it.
I'm gonna say contender because Kawhi. If your team is built around Kawhi and Paul George, and you have pretty good depth, I'm gonna say
Been
contender.
saying this since they got there. They ain't doing nothing. Stop saying that.
I believe in the
Stop doing
Clippers,
that.
but just to be that person, I'm gonna say pretender.
So the Jalen's are together.
It's like- I get it. The potential. It sounds so
It's
good.
there.
It looks real great on 2K when we play them.
Oh,
But
yeah.
in real life, they both of them actually play.
Woo! Hey, I put a 45 in today on 2K. That's crazy.
I don't know, man. I mean, they lost this game, but if you're doing stuff like this, 7 for 13 from 3.
Last team I got to mention them, Cavaliers.
Pretender.
Contender.
Pretender.
I left out teams like Miami.
Oh, right.
Oh,
Miami's
yeah.
a contender.
On that team
I
there.
left out Miami. I left out Portland.
Lottery.
Tank.
Sacramento.
Tank for Vic.
Teams like that. Yeah.
Sacramento. I mean,
I'm happy for Sacramento. They
Yeah, man. I hope they
like that beam.
Like the beam, man.
Like that beam, man.
Like that
That's all I
beam,
can say about them. They cool. They got some highlights.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
All right. We want to thank y'all for tuning in with us again. This will be again just Brian, Demarco, Jalen, whatever else nickname I got. OG, my bad. CT, Christian, SportsFan, JG, Mr. Late Man, Caleb, producer. We're gonna do a collective. Should I do it to him as we head out?
You want it to go?
Ready? All right. 1, 2, 3.